think about men in a hardened way, like, oh, they just want
and
this.
That's another thing. I don't think y'all understand that we got feeling. Thugs got feeling too.
Yeah.
Men got feeling too.
Alright. Hey girl, thanks for coming back to my channel. But if you are new here, welcome. I'm Nicole, and today I'm joined by my brother Marcus.
Hey, how y'all doing?
And today we got a good one. Today we are talking about situationships and why some men may prefer situationships over relationships. If you haven't checked out my other videos, I'll link it above here in the playlist. We're talking about situationships, how to tell if you're in one, how to heal from one after it ends. Before we jump into the video, you can shout out your Instagram.
What's up, y'all? Follow me at Word to the Mother. That's Word, W-O-R-D, the number 2, the D-A, then Mother is M-U-V-A. Word to the Mother.
Alright. Oh yeah, follow me at I am Nicole Vivian if you don't follow me already. We're having a good time. We're going up. We're having fun doing those reels, all that. Okay, and so we're just gonna jump right in. Why is it that some guys may prefer a situationship over a relationship? I know obviously you can't speak for all men, but just maybe some of your homeboys that maybe you talk to about this topic, or some of your opinions in the past, present.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll give my perspective on it, or opinion, because that's only opinion. Well, that's the only experience that I have, is my own experience. So if we gonna jump right into it, I personally believe that situationships are sometimes, well, hold on, what was the
why some guys may prefer situationships
okay,
over relationships.
So to start off, whenever there's a relationship, I believe there's obligations, in a sense, or expectations. Whenever you're in a situationship, there's no expectations if there wasn't already placed out in the beginning of the situationship. There's no expectations. There's really not any obligations. So that's one of the reasons why situationships, I would say, can be convenient for an individual, or some men prefer a situationship, because you don't have to call in the morning. When you're in a relationship, you gotta call in the morning to check, call during the day. You might get home late and be tired, and you still have that obligation to call, because that's what she expects, especially if you already set that expectation. In situationships, you ain't thinking about that. You hit that person up when you hit that person up, and you're not really thinking about it as like a schedule. Oh, I gotta do it in the morning, gotta call her in the afternoon. So that's one of the things I would quickly, as we just jump into it, on why situationships, are a little more convenient sometimes for men, I would say.
Yeah, that's what was my thinking too. Obviously, I'm not a man, but I was thinking, just because you want the convenient factor of having somebody around for whatever purpose you may want them to be around for, whatever is gonna work for you. But then when it comes to that more give and take, so to provide more maybe emotional support, you don't have to do any of that emotional support or companionship, those obligatory things, going to meet somebody's mama, going to be a guest at a wedding if they get invited to a wedding, anything like that. Just being those other extra things that can come along with the relationship. Exactly.
So we were talking about more of the emotional aspect of situationships.
That's right.
And why sometimes that can be, let's say, more appealing to a man to say. So one thing I would say, I'm just speaking on myself. I got trust issues, alright? It's not like I even been cheated on or anything like that to have trust issues. I just got trust issues. So I believe situationships, for me, it kind of, spares my feeling and my emotions, because I don't have to put everything into that person. I don't have to become vulnerable. So if something do happen, you gotta be like, oh, now I gotta pick myself up, from the emotional aspect of it. Because when you do stop talking to somebody, unless you just thug and you just keep it turning, people have feelings. That's gonna affect you to some extent. It may affect people more or less, but it's still gonna affect you. So I think just from the emotional aspect of it, not making yourself so vulnerable. Well, I would say just the vulnerability. I think it's really more vulnerability, I would say. You don't have to be vulnerable in situationships. In relationships, is kind of, if you want to have a good, healthy relationship, you have to be somewhat vulnerable.
Yeah, but what about like when the situationship goes on for over a year? I feel like lines get so blurred, because then you start to have those feelings even though there's no title. And if something happens to where she not cheats on you because you're not in a relationship, but steps out and mess with somebody else, you still might feel a type of way, right?
So before me and my girlfriend, my now girlfriend, became official, we were in somewhat of a situationship, I would say. And with that, I was perfect. Honestly, now we're in a long distance relationship, but I kind of liked it better, to be honest with you, because I didn't have any obligations. I didn't have any obligations, and I say that, and I'll say this. I wasn't worried about what you may be doing when I'm not there, because you weren't mine. I have no right to be wondering or thinking about that, and that's another thing. When you in a relationship, you start to care, and you know, you wonder how that person is doing, everything like that. Now, granted, I hope she was doing fine. I hope she wasn't out there doing nothing, but if you was, it's not like we was official. So it's not like you was obligated, you feel me? I go back to the obligation. It's not like you was obligated to uphold, you know, dang, what's not cheating and stuff like that. So I just think situationships sometimes, like, just from a mental, you know, it doesn't put so much pressure. You know, you can kind of just go with the flow. And honestly, not to say I dislike it, but you know, distance it is difficult. I would say, it being my first long distance relationship, on top of that, it does make it, you know, difficult, and we're still in the beginning. But I could just say, from the year before, how we interacted, it was no obligations in a sense, you know. It was no obligations. I wasn't worried about, like, oh, what you doing? You laid up with somebody? You know, when you don't pick up the phone, it's like, nah, do what you do, because you're not mine, you know. And so I guess that was more of, you know, protecting my feelings and things like that as well.
But what about, like, that journey from the situationship to the relationship? Like, how long did that take you to get into? Like, what was that time span in between you actually catching feelings and saying, okay, I want to transition to a relationship?
I would say probably like a 3-month span, I would say. Like I said, how we even got together was, well, one, we went to high school together, and she reached out to me over social media, and after that, you know, we talked, we got it together. I would say probably around like the 3rd month, because like I said, it was long distance. It's not like you was in where I was at, so it's not like I was putting everything into her. After about the 3rd month, she came up about 2 times. That's when I kind of, you know, said, all right, I'm willing to put my energy and become vulnerable with you. Now, it is a little difficult with the distance. Like I said, it is difficult for that to build on that with the distance. But shoot, I don't know what I was gonna say after that, because I know you said how long did it take.
Yeah, well, so are you saying that after 3 months of rekindling your relationship, or getting to be reacquainted, did you get into a relationship?
No, so it took about a year and a couple of months before we actually got into an official relationship. Through that year time, with the distance and just, you know, life, I wasn't in the, well, I could say I wasn't in a place where I thought being in a relationship.
So what kind of things will make a guy move from a situationship into a relationship?
I can't speak for every man, but for me, I would say, you know, I don't never like to say comfortability, because in a sense, I feel like that could be tied with negative, like, connotation.
Yeah, what exactly
But in a sense,
do you mean?
let me explain by this. Feel comfortable, I'm a loner. I always said I'm a loner, so I have a better time being myself than when I'm with other people. If I could be with someone else, specifically a woman, that, you know, I enjoy her, like, being with her and just genuinely vibing with her, and it's not a problem, and that will not just make me get in a relationship, but that's one of the, you know, things that will make me get in a relationship. So with my girlfriend, that's one of the things I felt after we hung out for that year or so. I just felt comfortable with her. I could be myself, and I didn't have to put on the front. So with that kind of led me to be like, all right, I'm ready to, you know, if I'm a loner, I could put my energy into at least you know, put all my energy into you. And so that's really what made me, you know, switch from being in a situationship to being in a relationship.
Okay, so just being able to just be yourself, and her company was almost the same as just being not.
Well, I wouldn't even
you
say
enjoyed
the same.
her company.
She added. So I'll say this: I'm a loner, so I enjoy being by myself. But when she was around me, she added to that. You know, it wasn't just the same. It was added happiness in the sense you want to say happiness. So you brought that, and I say even in friendships, any relationship, it need to be some benefit to it. You shouldn't just be, you need to at least make me smile, make me feel good, something, because what's the point of being in a relationship, being in any, what's the point of that if you're not bringing or adding something to it? So yes, wasn't the same, she was able to add that, you know, okay. So that's what I would say.
Okay. It's funny because I thought you would say something like, oh, you didn't want to have to worry about what she was doing when she wasn't with you. You didn't want her to entertain other guys. I thought that would be
one of
the answers.
Let me say this: you could do that whether we together or not together. You could do that. Like being a title ain't about to change that. Now, for some people, they may think that, but let me say this: a cheater was a cheater before he got married or after he got married. That title didn't make him want to change the action the way he's doing. I'm speaking for myself. I can't speak for every man.
I talk about that all the time. Like, whatever you do before your marriage, before marriage, you're practicing for your marriage. So who you are more than likely is going to carry into.
Yeah, not to say people can't change.
People can change. I'm not
you
saying
can change.
that.
You learn from your mistakes, you know, and things like that. But so no, that wasn't the reason why I wanted to become, official. So you want to be out there doing anything. If anything, I'll be honest with you, I feel like that's what kept me from being in a relationship, especially with that distance. Because once we became official, now I gotta think about what you may be doing out there. You feel me? So that's where my opinion comes from.
Yeah. Okay.
I like a female that could add food for thought. So like, if I'm going through a stressful situation and I come to you, you don't have to like. I'm not coming to you like mommy and you gotta just comfort me, but I want you to be able to have some food for thought, like add something to it, be able, if something going, it's gonna be all right, help me, just don't look at me. This mother always said this, when something goes down, we shouldn't be looking at me like, oh, what we gonna do? No, we gonna look at each other and say, okay, how we gonna handle this, and so that's kind of the mentality I kind of look for when I'm dealing with another person. For somebody to look at me and say, how we gonna handle this? Being the man, us being prideful and all that, we always gonna seem like a woman's gonna look at us and be like, what we gonna do? And we should have a plan. That's just my opinion. We should have a plan. But I also like for women to look at me and say, how we gonna do this together? You feel me?
So what are the things that would keep you and a woman into a situationship instead of moving outside of the relationship? Like, what are like red flags, I guess?
So one I would say is me feeling like I'm doing the reaching out more, and she. So let me say, I would say this: reciprocation. Everything needs to be reciprocated. So if I'm over there hitting you up more, and then you can't reciprocate, and when I say hit up, I mean calling. I know I with my slang sometimes. So calling. If I'm calling you 5 times a day and you call me once, I'm not even good at math, but 1 in 5, that's not reciprocating at all, and so just that, and also just not seeing, for me, I would say growth, not seeing any growth. If it's just the same thing, or like we having the same small talk, the same conversations, and we're not having any, it's not going anything, it's just the same old, that's one of the flags right there that would keep me in a situationship. Really reciprocation, if you can't reciprocate what I'm giving out, then you're not even on my speed. I'm sorry to say that, and that's not saying I'm better than anybody or anything like that, but you got to be on my speed. And I feel like a lot of people in relationships, they don't give them that oomph. Like that person, like everybody need to walk around and be like, I'm that person, because that's something in life. You that ish at it. Excuse my language. You the ish at it, and so you need to walk around like you are. So go back to the relationship. When you in your relationship, you be like, yeah, you should want to be with me. It's a reason why you want to be with me. You should be wanting to be with me, and not from a cocky. I think just from a healthy, just a healthy self-confidence. Yeah, confidence. There you go.
Yes, ladies, I always talk about confidence. In fact, I'm doing a confidence challenge next month. So if you want to join us, click in the link in the description box below. There'll be a wait list. And just join us. I'm so excited. It's going to be so good. We're going to not just talk about fluff things and, mantras. We're going to do some practical things to really work on our self-confidence. Do you have any final thoughts on why some guys may prefer a situationship over a relationship?
I just, as final word, I would just say some people might, or some guys specifically, since we're talking about guys, may prefer a situationship. Just based off of one, I just thought of this too. It could be, your schedule too. If you're a busy person, sometimes, it seems as if you're too busy to be in a relationship, so a situation may be more convenient for you.
I hear all that you're saying, but I have heard a guy just flat out say he just want to keep you around so he can have his fun with you, and so you don't expect much more than that. When the fun is over, you go to your place, he go to his place, he do his thing, and that's it. So I don't know. I mean, I hear what you're saying and all, but I think that is really just the truth. They just want to have their cake and eat it too. So it's up to us as a female to say what you want, what you don't want. And if that's not what you want, then it just is what it is. Let him be. Let him have a situationship with whoever he wants to have a situationship with.
I agree. I could definitely agree. That's a different perspective that I didn't think, but I agree with what you said right there.
Yeah. So on that note, we're going to end it here.
And as always, it's not a movement, it's a lifestyle.
And let's elevate our lives together. Later.